December 1900, on the remote, jagged rock known as Eilean Moor, the Flannan Isles lighthouse falls silent. For days, no light cuts through the North Atlantic gloom. When a relief ship finally battles its way to the island, the crew finds a scene of profound and orderly abandonment. The door to the lighthouse is unlocked. The fire is dead. 3 oilskin coats are missing, but the 3 keepers, Thomas Marshall, James Ducat, and Donald McArthur, are gone, vanished from an island 20 miles from the nearest land. The only clues, an unfinished meal, an overturned chair, and a log entry describing a storm that never was. This is the mystery of the vanished lighthouse keepers, a case where the evidence points in every direction, and the truth was swallowed by the sea. Let's establish the facts from the official inquiry. The lighthouse was state-of-the-art, completed just a year prior. The last routine contact was on December 7th. By December 15th, passing ships noted the light was out, a serious problem for maritime safety. On December 26th, the relief vessel Hesperus finally arrived, its crew anxious. The scene they discovered only deepened the mystery. The main gate to the compound and the lighthouse door were closed, but, crucially, unlocked. Inside, the clock had stopped. A meal of boiled eggs, bread, and stew was laid out on the table, completely uneaten, as if the men were called away mid-bite. In the keeper's quarters, 1 single chair was overturned. Outside, the investigators found signs of immense power. The west landing, a platform over 100 feet above sea level, showed extreme damage. Thick iron railings were bent and twisted out of shape. A heavy storage box, which had been secured in concrete, was ripped from its moorings and gone. Most hauntingly of all was the lighthouse logbook. The final entry, dated December 15th, was written by Second Assistant Thomas Marshall. It read, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." A peaceful, almost serene conclusion, but the entry just before it, also in Marshall's hand, and dated the 14th, describes something terrifying. "Severe winds, the likes of which I have never seen." The keepers wrote of being trapped in the lighthouse for days, one of them weeping in fear. The problem? Official weather reports from the mainland, for those exact dates, recorded nothing but calm conditions. No storm was ever officially registered. This contradictory evidence has created a perfect storm of theories, each trying to explain the unexplainable. Theory 1 is the most widely accepted, the rogue wave. The damage to the west landing suggests a massive freak wave, far larger than any normal storm could produce, crashed over the 200-foot cliffs. In this scenario, 2 of the keepers went out to secure equipment during a sudden lull. When they were swept away by a colossal wave, the 3rd keeper ran out to help, only to be taken by the sea as well. This is the official explanation, but it leaves nagging questions. Why was the meal inside untouched? And why would all 3 experienced keepers be outside at the same time during such conditions, which goes against lighthouse regulations? Theory 2 suggests a more human drama, a fight and a tragic accident. The overturned chair is the primary clue here. Perhaps a sudden, violent altercation broke out between the men. 1 man could have been killed in the heat of the moment. The remaining 2, panicked and facing a murder charge, might have tried to dispose of the body in the violent sea, only to be swept away themselves. This explains the sudden departure from the meal and the chair. However, it relies entirely on speculation about the men's state of mind, with no other physical evidence to support a fight. Theory 3 takes us into the realm of the supernatural. The Flannan Isles were locally known as the Cursed Isles, places rumored to be haunted by spirits or malevolent entities. Some people point to those strange log entries describing a storm that didn't exist as proof that the keepers were not battling the weather, but their own sanity. Perhaps a sinister force on the island drove them mad, luring them to their deaths. This theory, of course, lives in the world of folklore, not fact, but it persists because of the sheer strangeness of the case. The idea that something ancient and unknowable took them is a compelling, if unprovable, narrative. Finally, there's Theory 4, a secret escape. Could the men have planned to disappear? Maybe they arranged for a clandestine boat to pick them up, allowing them to escape their isolated lives and start over somewhere new. This seems fantastically unlikely. The island is incredibly remote and the seas are treacherous. They left behind their wages and personal belongings. Furthermore, no life-saving equipment was missing from the lighthouse, and arranging a secret rendezvous in the wintry North Atlantic of 1900 would have been a logistical nightmare. The mystery was officially closed in 1901, with the verdict being a tragic accident, death by drowning. But in the modern era, researchers have re-examined the evidence with new technology. Some suggest that a localized, hyper-intense microstorm or a seiche wave could have struck the island without being recorded miles away on the mainland, lending credibility back to the rogue wave theory. Others have analyzed the handwriting in the logbook, finding no signs of distress or panic, which only deepens the puzzle. Why write about a terrifying storm in a completely calm hand? The legacy of the Flannan Isles is not that of a solved case, but of a perfect, enduring ghost story from the age of iron men and wooden ships. It represents the ultimate vulnerability of humanity against the indifferent, massive power of nature. The three keepers of Eilean Moor did not just vanish. They left behind a stage scene, a silent lighthouse, and a logbook that tells two different stories, one of terror, one of peace. The Flannan Isles mystery is a locked room puzzle where the room is a rock in a raging ocean, and the key lies at the bottom of the sea. It reminds us that some stories have no third act, only an eternal question mark. What do you believe happened on that lonely rock? A wave, a fight, or something else entirely? Share your theory in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring history's greatest enigmas, be sure to subscribe for more journeys into the lost and unexplained. Thanks for watching.